So many of us choose our path out of fear disguised as practicality. What we really want seems impossibly out of reach and ridiculous to expect, so we never dare to ask the universe for it. I'm saying I'm the proof that you can ask the universe for it. Now, fear is going to be a player in your life, but you get to decide how much. You can spend your whole life imagining ghosts, worrying about the pathway to the future, but all there will ever be is what's happening here, and the decisions we make in this moment, which are based in either love or fear.
When I was, I guess, 15, I was 15 years old, and I was looking for a way into the business, and my dad was out of work, and he was a great character, so we decided we wanted to be radio personalities or television personalities of some kind. You know, I used to imitate the Carol Burnett show at the time when I was a kid. I used to imitate Tim Conway. Here. You know, and all that stuff. So that was my childhood, was Carol Burnett. I tried to get on her show when I was 10 years old.
Yeah, you sent a resume.
I sent a little resume and a list of the impressions I did, which were like 120 people at that time. I wanted on the show, I said, like one of the regulars, like Tim Conway or Harvey Korman. And they sent me, I got a letter back from Hollywood. It was like the greatest day of my life.
That's incredible.
Everything went into slow motion, and it was a letter, like a kind of a form letter or whatever, from an assistant and stuff with a Carol Burnett signature stamped on it. But it said that you know, they generally hire their talent through agencies and things like that. But the best of luck, and it sounds like you're doing great. We encourage you to keep going. You know, I didn't care that it was a rejection. I just got a letter from Hollywood. It was Television City, man.
Your first connection.
I was gone. I was so happy. That was the first connection. Exactly. He wrapped everyone that came into our house in stories and jokes, and they left my house always with stains. And going like, Percy, oh man, you missed your calling, Percy. You missed your calling. Like that. From the time that there was consciousness in the body, I was looking at a man named Percy, my dad, who was the most incredible character that you'd ever meet. If you met him for 5 minutes, you thought you knew him for 50 years. I became his calling at a certain point, and he was always super behind me. But from the first time I can remember, him just lighting up the room, you know, and him just like wrapping everybody in a story or whatever, and going, oh, that's the thing I want to do. You know, that's what I want to be.
You can fail at what you don't want, so you might as well take a chance on doing what you love. My father could have been a great comedian, but he didn't believe that was possible for him. And so he made a conservative choice. Instead, he got a safe job as an accountant. And when I was 12 years old, he was let go from that safe job. And our family had to do whatever we could to survive. I learned many great lessons from my father. I watched the effect of my father's love and humor and how it altered the world around me. And I thought, that's something to do. That's something worth my time. It wasn't long before I started acting up, and people would come over to the house and they'd be greeted by a 7-year-old throwing himself down a large flight of stairs. When I was about 28, after a decade as a professional comedian, I realized one night in LA that the purpose of my life had always been to free people from concern, just like my dad.
He was always there to encourage me to get up in front of the company or throw myself down a flight of stairs, whatever, in slow motion. And he said, where do you see this? Where do you see this? Because I became what was special about the family. I learned about all the different types of comedy, did some research about spoonerisms and whatever else that I could talk about. And I won the contest. And, you know, I was so flabbergasted, but the greatest memory of it was that my father was in the front row. I won a speech contest, a Halton County speech contest, when I was, I believe, that was grade 6, and about comedy. Yeah. And I did, and I learned how to do ventriloquism for it, and I bought a little dummy, and this guy just twisted it all around. He didn't care about the form, and he was a challenge to form itself. So I had to process it, and then I just went, I really like this. because I had a rebellious streak early. It was early on. I mean, Andy Kaufman was like just kind of a odd, like at first, like everybody with Andy is like, what am I watching here? I'm used to Carol Burnett, and I'm used to people presenting themselves, and I am so-and-so, and here's my gig. You know, it was never I wanted to hurt somebody's streak. There were moments of that, but when we were poor. But there was mostly I want to challenge your beliefs. I want to challenge the properness of this occasion. Throw it on its head in a way that you can accept and love, and it'll free you. So I've been in the business of freeing people from concern. I call it the Church of FFC, freedom from concern. You know, and that's been my ministry my whole life. Where there's this kind of weird thing, like I went on a Broadway stage with Michael Moore last week, and I did a lot of comedy and I did political stuff, and that was all great. And then I just kind of slowed down and started talking about the river of tears that we all have to face. I'm finding that people are all kind of for the most part, accepting of another kind of way of looking at things, or letting go of character. You know? But I don't believe that any of it matters. You know, this mattering is to me a human construct, born out of a need. The same need as you have to have, you know, deities and things like that. I believe in an energy of God, an energy of, you know, everything is divine. It was more like you're supposed to say, you know, we're important. You're supposed to say it's all going to be all right, and you're supposed to say that, you know, whatever you dream can come true, and you're supposed to say all those things. I do believe in manifestation, the power of that kind of stuff. Sometimes I still have the groove cut in me that, you know, wants my hair to look nice.
Right.
It's an ancient thing, you know. There's still ego there, but I don't. I'm finding that ultimately the freedom from it is something people are kind of hungry for in a way. They're like, I don't want to be me either. In order to give up my attachment to those things, it's been part of the evolution of ego is to spend your first half of your life acquiring and adding, thinking you can add to yourself, and it looks great. I believe that I had to become a famous, you know, idea.
Yeah.
And get all the stuff that people dream about, and accomplish a bunch of things that you know that look like success. It looks great. You got a cool car, and you got good, nice clothes, and you know, and you've done something that people admire. But it can never fulfill you. You can never be happy. You know what I mean? It's not where happiness comes from. And you know, I dealt with depression, you know, a few years ago. The happy place is realizing that you're everything, you know, and that there's no real you involved in the first place. You know, it's a weird little semantic jump that you make where it sounds like, well, that's totally threatening, man. I can't not be me. I've built this construct.
So many of us choose our path out of fear disguised as practicality. What we really want seems impossibly out of reach and ridiculous to expect, so we never dare to ask the universe for it. I'm saying I'm the proof that you can ask the universe for it. Now, fear is going to be a player in your life, but you get to decide how much. You can spend your whole life imagining ghosts, worrying about the pathway to the future, but all there will ever be is what's happening here, and the decisions we make in this moment, which are based in either love or fear. As someone who's done what you're about to go and do, I can tell you from experience, the effect you have on others is the most valuable currency there is. And I dedicated myself to that ministry. What's yours? How will you serve the world? What do they need that your talent can provide? That's all you have to figure out. Everything you gain in life will rot and fall apart, and all that will be left of you is what was in your heart. My choosing to free people from concern got me to the top of a mountain. Look where I am. Look what I get to do. I did something that made people present their best selves to me wherever I go. You can join the game, fight the wars, play with form all you want, but to find real peace, you have to let the armor go. Your need for acceptance can make you invisible in this world. And that peace that we're after, lies somewhere beyond personality. Beyond the perception of others, beyond invention and disguise, even beyond effort itself. Don't let anything stand in the way of the light that shines through this form. Risk being seen in all of your glory. I've often said that I wished people could realize all their dreams in wealth and fame, and so that they could see that it's not where you're going to find your sense of completion. Like many of you, I was concerned about going out into the world and doing something bigger than myself, until someone smarter than myself made me realize that there is nothing bigger than myself. As far as I can tell, it's just about letting the universe know what you want and working toward it while letting go of how it comes to pass. Your job is not to figure out how it's going to happen for you, but to open the door in your head. And when the door opens in real life, just walk through it. Take a chance on faith. Not religion, but faith. Not hope, but faith. I don't believe in hope. Hope is a beggar. Hope walks through the fire and faith leaps over it.